I sat at my mother's dinner table, fork halfway to my mouth, when she said the words that would change everything. "You're not even fit to shine her shoes, Ferdinand." My sister Emma's face went pale. Aunt Carol stopped mid-chew. Uncle Howard's wine glass froze in the air. The whole family was there, watching, waiting. I set down my fork slowly and looked my mother straight in the eye. "Then maybe you should ask her to pay your bills." The room went silent. Nobody moved. Emma looked like she might throw up. The silence lasted maybe 10 seconds, but it felt like an hour. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. Around the table, 8 faces stared at me, like I'd just spoken in a foreign language. Maybe I had. Maybe the language of truth was foreign in this house. Let me back up. 3 years ago, my phone rang at 6 in the morning. It was Mom, and she was crying. I just moved into my apartment in Scottsdale, was working as a project manager for a commercial construction company in Phoenix. The promotion had come through 2 months earlier. I was proud of myself, finally making decent money, finally feeling like an adult at 29 years old. "Ferdinand, honey, I need to talk to you about something." Her voice was shaky, desperate. "It's my arthritis. It's getting so much worse. I can't work anymore. I just can't." My stomach dropped. "Mom, what do you need?" I hate to ask this. I hate it, but I'm going to lose the house. The bills are piling up. The medical costs alone are eating me alive. She paused, and I heard her breath catch. "I need $1,200 a month, just to survive. Rent, utilities, medications, food, basic things. $1,200. That was a quarter of my take-home pay. But what was I supposed to say? No? Let my mother become homeless? Of course, Mom. I'll send it. Don't worry. Oh, Ferdinand." She was crying harder now. "You're such a good boy. But please, please don't tell anyone. I don't want the family to think I'm a burden. Can you keep this between us?" "Sure, Mom. Whatever you need." So I set up an automatic transfer. First of every month, $1,200 moved from my account to hers. I worked 60-hour weeks to make it manageable, skipped vacations, drove my truck into the ground instead of buying something newer, ate a lot of ramen and frozen pizza. But I made it work because that's what sons do, right? You take care of your parents. Meanwhile, Emma became the golden child on steroids. Every phone call with Mom started the same way. "Your sister just got promoted to senior marketing director at this tech startup in Seattle. They're giving her stock options, Ferdinand. Stock options. Can you believe it?" Or, "Emma just moved into this gorgeous apartment in Capitol Hill. 2 bedrooms, a view of the water." She sent me pictures. It's like something from a magazine. My promotion to senior project manager? That's nice, honey. 3 words, then right back to Emma's accomplishments. When I turned 32 last April, Mom called me. The conversation lasted 3 minutes. "Happy birthday, sweetie. Hope you have a nice day." "Oh, did I tell you Emma's engaged? His name is Craig. He's an executive at a software company. They're thinking spring wedding. Isn't that exciting?" When Emma turned 34 in June, Mom talked to her for an hour and 17 minutes. I know because Emma told me, laughing about how Mom wouldn't let her go. The family group chat was basically the Emma Appreciation Society. Photos of her at company events, screenshots of her LinkedIn promotions, announcements about her marathon times, her vacation to Portugal, her new electric car. Every message from Mom was punctuated with heart emojis and praise. When I posted about finishing a major hotel project downtown, overseeing a team of 40 people and bringing it in under budget, 2 responses. One from my cousin Jake. "Cool, man." One from Aunt Carol. Thumbs up emoji. That was it. Today's dinner was supposed to be a casual family gathering. Thanksgiving was 3 weeks away, but Mom wanted to get together before the holiday chaos. That's what she said. What she meant was, "I want to show off Emma and her fancy fiancé to the entire family." Craig showed up looking like he'd walked out of a tech conference. Tailored navy suit, expensive watch, driving a silver Tesla that he'd parked prominently in the driveway. He had that tech executive confidence, the kind that comes from making six figures before you're 35. Perfectly styled hair, firm handshake, the kind of guy who says circling back and synergy without irony. Dinner started with Mom practically glowing as she described Emma's corner office, her benefit package, her company's upcoming IPO. "She's going to be very comfortable," Mom said, reaching over to squeeze Emma's hand. "Very comfortable indeed." Then she looked at me. "Ferdinand, you're still in construction?" The way she said still made it sound like a disease I hadn't recovered from. "I'm a senior project manager now, Mom. I've told you this." "Right. That's so physical, though. All that outdoor work. Emma uses her mind. That's the future, you know. Knowledge work." I cut into my turkey, said nothing. Emma, to her credit, looked uncomfortable. "Mom, Ferdinand's job is important too." But Mom was on a roll. She spent the next 20 minutes detailing Emma's achievements like she was reading from a resume. The rest of the family ate and nodded along. Uncle Howard asked Craig about the tech industry. Aunt Diane asked Emma about wedding venues. My cousins Jake and Amy peppered them with questions about Seattle, about West Coast living, about whether it really rained that much. I might as well have been invisible. Then Emma mentioned she was buying Mom a new iPad for Christmas, the one with the bigger screen, so it's easier for you to read. Mom's entire face lit up like a child on Christmas morning. "Oh, sweetheart. Finally, someone who thinks of me. Someone who really cares about making my life easier." That word. Finally. Like I hadn't been making her life easier for 3 years. Like those $1,200 a month were imaginary. Like I didn't exist. Something inside me cracked. Mom kept going. "You know, Emma, you've always been so thoughtful, so considerate. Some people just have that quality. They think about others." She glanced at me, quick, just a flicker. "And some people are so wrapped up in their own little worlds they forget the people who raised them." My fork was gripping my hand so tight my knuckles were white. "Ferdinand," Mom said, her voice dripping with artificial sweetness, "you could learn a lot from your sister. About generosity, about showing appreciation." The whole table was watching now. Then she said it. "You're not even fit to shine her shoes." The air left the room. Aunt Carol's fork clattered against her plate. Uncle Howard's wine glass stopped halfway to his mouth. Jake and Amy froze. Craig looked deeply uncomfortable. Emma's face drained of color. I set my fork down carefully, slowly. The kind of slow that comes when you're trying very hard not to flip a table. I looked at my mother, really looked at her. At this woman who'd been taking my money for 3 years while publicly humiliating me. This woman who'd made me promise to keep my help secret while parading Emma around like a prize. "Then maybe you should ask her to pay your bills." My voice was calm, quiet, deadly. Mom blinked. "What? Your bills? The ones I've been paying for 3 years. Maybe Emma should take those over. Since I'm so worthless." Uncle Howard leaned forward. "What are you talking about?" I pulled out my phone, opened my banking app, turned the screen to face the table. $1,200. First of every month. For 3 years. Rent, utilities, phone, internet, medications, groceries, everything. I scrolled through the transactions. August, July, June, May. All the way back to September 3 years ago. That's $43,200, give or take. Emma's mouth fell open. Craig looked confused. Aunt Carol whispered, "Oh my God." Mom's face was cycling through emotions. Shock, panic, then something calculating. "That's not. You're exaggerating." "Am I?" I turned my phone back toward me, started reading. November 1st, 1200. October 1st, 1200. September 1st, 1200. Should I keep going? Uncle Howard reached for the phone. "Let me see that." But Mom lunged across the table and grabbed it from my hand. "This is private. Family business." She was scrolling frantically, her fingers moving fast. Then she did something. I saw her tap the screen several times. Deliberate. Focused. I grabbed the phone back. My banking app icon was gone. She'd deleted it. "What did you just do?" Mom's eyes were wide. but there was something sharp behind them. I didn't do anything. You're trying to humiliate me with fake evidence, and I won't stand for it. Fake evidence? Mom, those are real bank statements, but the damage was done. The app was gone from my home screen. It looked like I'd hidden something, like I was lying. Mom's voice rose, theatrical, pained. My own son is making up stories about supporting me to make himself look good because he can't stand that his sister is successful. And just like that, she'd flipped the script. Emma was the first to speak. Ferdinand, why would you make something like this up? I'm not making it up. My voice came out louder than I intended. Mom, tell them the truth. But Mom was already crying. Not just crying, weeping. Her shoulders shook. Her hands covered her face. It was a performance worthy of an Oscar, and I watched in horror as everyone at the table bought it completely. I can't believe this, she said between sobs. I can't believe my own son would lie about me to this family. In front of everyone, Aunt Diane moved her chair closer to Mom, put an arm around her. Grace, it's okay. We know Ferdinand's been under a lot of stress lately. I'm not stressed. I'm telling the truth. Uncle Howard held up a hand. Ferdinand, let's all just calm down. I am calm. She deleted my banking app to make it look like I was hiding something. Mom lifted her head from her hands. Her eyes were red, wet, but there was steel underneath. I deleted nothing. Your phone was showing private information about me. Information you shouldn't even have access to. I was trying to protect my privacy. Your privacy? I'm the one sending you money. Small amounts. Mom's voice cracked perfectly. Yes, you've helped me out occasionally. 200 here, 300 there, when I've asked. Which I always pay back. My jaw dropped. Pay back? You've never paid back a single dollar, because you insisted they were gifts. You said, don't worry about it, Mom. You said, I'm happy to help. Now suddenly they're loans. She was rewriting history in real time, and she was good at it. Craig cleared his throat. Look, man, I don't know what's going on with your family dynamics, but making up stuff about your mom in front of everyone is pretty low. I'm not making anything up. Emma's voice was quiet, disappointed. Ferdinand, I've talked to Mom regularly. She's been working part-time at the library. She manages fine. What library job? Mom, you haven't worked in 3 years. Mom's voice was firm now, the tears drying up. Yes, I have. I do filing at the Mesa Public Library twice a week. I've been doing it for 8 months. You'd know that if you ever bothered to ask about my life, instead of making assumptions. That's not true. Yes, it is, Emma said. She told me about it months ago. How she likes being around the books. How it gets her out of the house. I stared at Emma. You're believing this? Why wouldn't I? It's not like you've shown any evidence, Ferdinand. You showed us a phone screen for 5 seconds. Then the app disappeared. That's pretty convenient. She deleted it. Or you never had it, Craig said. Easy to claim you were showing bank statements when no one really got a good look. The room was turning against me. I could feel it. Uncle Howard looked uncertain. Aunt Carol was frowning at me. My cousins Jake and Amy had arrived late and were getting the story secondhand, their expressions shifting to disappointment as Mom explained her version. Ferdinand is claiming he's been supporting me for years, Mom told them, her voice quivering with hurt. That I never appreciated him. But it's not true. He's just jealous of Emma. He always has been. That's not fair, I said, but my voice sounded weak even to my own ears. Isn't it? Every time Emma achieves something, you get quiet, moody. You can't just be happy for her, because you never acknowledge anything I do, because you never do anything worth acknowledging. The words shot out of Mom's mouth like bullets. She looked shocked at herself, put a hand over her mouth. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. But you've pushed me to it, Ferdinand. Accusing me of lying, embarrassing me in front of my family. You forced me to be honest. Aunt Diane nodded. Sometimes the truth hurts, Ferdinand. I felt like I was losing my mind. The truth? The truth is I've been sending her $1,200 every single month for 3 years. Then prove it, Emma said. Show us the bank statements. My hands were shaking as I tried to re-download the banking app. My fingers felt thick, clumsy. The phone kept asking for my password. I typed it wrong twice. The App Store was loading slowly. Everyone watched me struggle. "This is painful to watch," Craig muttered. Finally, the app downloaded. I opened it, logged in, pulled up my transaction history, but Mom was faster. She stood up. "No, I won't sit here and let you parade my private financial information in front of everyone like I'm on trial. This is humiliating." Uncle Howard stood too. "Grace is right. This has gone too far. Whatever's happening between you two, this isn't the way to handle it. But I have the proof right here. Proof you could have edited," Mom said quietly. "Anyone can fake bank screenshots, Ferdinand. I thought I raised you better than this." The disappointment in her voice was perfect, practiced, deadly. Jake spoke up. "Dude, maybe you should just apologize and we can all move on." "Apologize? For telling the truth? For making a scene?" Amy said. "For ruining dinner." I looked around the table. Every face showed some combination of pity, disappointment, or disgust. No one believed me. Not one person. Emma stood. "I think I need some air." Craig followed her out. Through the window, I could see them standing on the porch. Emma was talking, gesturing. Craig had his hands in his pockets, nodding. Mom sat back down, looking small and wounded. Aunt Diane was still rubbing her back. Uncle Howard poured her a glass of water. Everyone was taking care of her, comforting her, protecting her from her terrible son, who just tried to humiliate her publicly. "I think you should leave," Mom said softly. "Please, Ferdinand. Just go." "Mom." Now, her voice was ice. I grabbed my jacket, my keys, walked to the door. No one stopped me. No one said goodbye. I sat in my truck in the driveway for 10 minutes, gripping the steering wheel, trying to breathe. Through the window, I could see everyone gathering around Mom, supporting her, believing her. She'd gaslit me in front of my entire family. She'd turned my truth into a lie, my evidence into manipulation, my pain into jealousy. And it worked. I drove home to my apartment in Scottsdale, sat on my couch in the dark, couldn't sleep. At 2 a.m, I opened my laptop, logged into my bank account, downloaded 3 years of statements, saved them everywhere, backed them up to 3 different cloud services. I had the truth. I had proof. But what good was proof when no one wanted to believe it? The email came at 6 a.m, 2 days after the disaster dinner. I was already awake, hadn't really slept since the confrontation. The subject line read, "Transaction declined. Monthly transfer." My stomach dropped before I even opened it. "Your scheduled transfer of $1,200 to Grace Fletcher's account ending in 7439 has been declined. Reason: account closed. Please update your payment information or cancel this recurring transaction." Account closed. She'd closed the account I'd been sending money to for 3 years. I called her cell. It rang 4 times. Then, "The person you're trying to reach is not available. Please leave a message." I tried again. Same result. Again. Same result. On the 4th try, she answered. "What do you want, Ferdinand? You closed your bank account. It's my account. I can do what I want with it." "Mom, we need to talk about what happened." "There's nothing to talk about. You humiliated me. You lied about me. And now you're harassing me with phone calls. I'm done, Ferdinand." "I didn't lie. I have 3 years of bank statements, which prove nothing except that you sent me money occasionally. Money I thought were gifts. Money I tried to refuse, but you insisted on giving. Now you're weaponizing your own generosity. It's sick. That's not what happened. Goodbye, Ferdinand." She hung up. I drove to her house. The small ranch in Tempe, where she'd lived for 20 years, where I'd grown up, where family dinners used to mean something other than psychological warfare. I knocked on the door, rang the bell, knocked again. "Mom, I know you're in there." Her voice came through the door. "Go away, Ferdinand. You've done enough. I just want to talk. Leave, or I'm calling the police." I stepped back from the door, and that's when I noticed her car in the driveway. Except, it wasn't her car. Her old car was a beat-up Honda Accord from 2008. Dented bumper, rust spots, the driver's side mirror held on with duct tape. This car was a Honda Civic, maybe 2 years old. Clean, well-maintained, probably worth $15,000. How did someone on library wages afford that? I stood there staring at that car, and pieces started clicking together in my head. None of them good. I drove home, made coffee, tried to think logically. Mom was getting $1,200 from me. She claimed she was barely scraping by. But she had a newer car. She'd refused to answer simple questions about where the money was going. She'd turned the entire family against me rather than having an honest conversation about finances. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. I called my cousin Jake. He was 25, easygoing, usually stayed out of family drama. If anyone would talk to me straight, it was him. Jake, it's Ferdinand. Oh, hey. His voice was cautious. Listen, about the other night, I need to ask you something. Has Emma ever mentioned helping Mom out financially? Silence. Jake, I don't know if I should get in the middle of this. Please, just tell me. Has Emma been sending Mom money? He sighed. Yeah. She mentioned it last Christmas. She sends her money, every month. For bills and stuff. My vision tunneled. How much? Duda, I don't know. I didn't ask for details. Roughly. How much? I don't know, man. She said something about $800? Maybe? It was a casual conversation. $800. I was sending $1,200. Emma was sending $800. For at least some period of time, Mom had been receiving $2,000 a month from her children. My hands started shaking. Thanks, Jake. Ferdinand, are you okay? I hung up. $2,000 a month. Her rent was $700. I knew that because I had asked when she first requested help. Utilities in Arizona ran maybe $150 in summer, less in winter. Let's call it $150 average. Phone bill, maybe $80. Internet, $60. Medications, even with her arthritis, maybe $200 with insurance. Groceries for one person, $300 if she was being generous. Total, $1,690 per month. She was receiving $2,000. Where was the extra $300 going? And that was if all her stated expenses were real. What if some weren't? I needed to talk to Emma. I called her number. It rang once, then went to voicemail. She'd declined the call. I texted, Emma, we need to talk. It's important. Please. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Finally, I don't want to talk to you. It's about Mom's finances. Please, just hear me out. The dots appeared and stayed. Then, what about them? Can we meet? Coffee? No. Emma, please. I'm not trying to start another fight. I just need to ask you something. Long pause. Then, fine. One question. Text it. How much money have you been sending, Mom? Several minutes passed. Then, why do you want to know? Because I need to understand what's going on. Please, Emma. Just tell me. $800 a month. For the last year and a half. Are you happy now? Did you get what you wanted? Year and a half. 18 months. I did quick math. Emma had sent $14,400. I'd sent $43,200. Together, $57,600. But for the 18 months they overlapped, Mom was receiving $2,000 a month. That was $36,000 in 18 months. Mom's actual expenses for that same period, even by the most generous estimate, would have been around $25,000. $11,000 was unaccounted for. Emma, can we please meet in person? I think something's wrong. The only thing wrong is you, Ferdinand. Leave me alone. Wait, just listen. I was sending Mom $1,200 a month. You were sending $800. That means for the last year and a half, she was getting $2,000 total. The dots appeared, stopped, appeared again. What? She was getting money from both of us. At the same time, that's impossible. She would have said something, would she? She made us both promise not to tell anyone. You didn't know about my payments. I didn't know about yours. She kept us separate. Silence. New dots. Then, where are you? Home. Stay there. I'm coming over. 40 minutes later, Emma knocked on my apartment door. She looked exhausted. No makeup. Hair in a messy ponytail. This was the most unpolished I'd seen her in years. Show me, she said. We sat at my kitchen table. I pulled up my bank statements on my laptop. 3 years of $1,200 payments. First of every month. Like clockwork. Emma pulled out her own laptop. Logged into her account. 18 months of $800 payments. 15th of every month. We sat there looking at the numbers. Oh my God. Emma whispered. For 18 months, she was getting $2,000 a month from us combined. Where did it go? That's what I want to know. Emma was scrolling through her own records. She told me she needed the money because Social Security wasn't covering her expenses. She said Dad's life insurance ran out and she was struggling. She made me promise not to tell anyone because she was embarrassed. She told me her arthritis made work impossible, and she was about to lose the house. We looked at each other. Different stories, Emma said. Custom designed for each of us. Emma closed her laptop, rubbed her face. What do we do? I don't know. But I think we need to find out where that money went. How? Does Mom have any close friends? Anyone who might know what's really going on? Emma thought. Mrs. Patterson, the neighbor. They've been friends forever. Can you talk to her? Me? Why me? Because Mom's not speaking to me. She'll probably tell Mrs. Patterson I'm dangerous or unstable. But you're the golden child. If you show up concerned about Mom's well-being, Mrs. Patterson will talk to you. Emma looked uncomfortable. This feels wrong. Like we're investigating our own mother. Emma, she took almost $60,000 from us combined. We have a right to know where it went. She nodded slowly. Okay, I'll call Mrs. Patterson tomorrow. 2 days later, my phone rang. Emma's name on the screen. I answered. She was crying. Emma? What happened? I talked to Mrs. Patterson. Her voice was choked. Ferdinand, Mom's been going to the casino. The world tilted. What? 3 times a week. Sometimes more. Desert Diamond Casino. Mrs. Patterson sees her leave all the time. She thought we knew. I couldn't speak. We funded a gambling addiction, Emma said. All that money. It went to slot machines and poker tables. Oh my God. Mrs. Patterson said Mom's been doing it for at least 2 years. Maybe longer. 2 years. Right in the middle of when I started sending money. I can't believe this, I said. This is your fault. The words hit me like a punch. What? This is your fault, Ferdinand. Emma's voice rose. You gave her money with no oversight. No accountability. No tracking. You just handed over $1,200 a month and never asked where it went. You did the same thing. I gave her $800. You gave her $1,200. You gave her more freedom to waste it. That's insane, is it? If you'd told me what you were doing, we could have coordinated. We could have controlled it. We could have made sure the money went to actual bills. But no, you just had to be the hero, sending all that money in secret. She made me promise not to tell, and you just obeyed? Like a child? This is exactly why Mom's in this mess, Ferdinand. Because you can't think ahead. You can't see the consequences of your actions. I was trying to help her, and look how that turned out. She hung up. I sat in my apartment, phone in hand, trying to process what just happened. I'd discovered the truth about where the money went. I'd proven I wasn't lying about the payments. I'd started to build a bridge with Emma, and somehow, I'd ended up being blamed for Mom's gambling addiction. Every problem I tried to solve created a worse one. Every escape route led to a deeper trap. I was still sending $1,200 a month emotionally, even though the account was closed. Still paying for my mother's approval. Still trying to fix something that was never my responsibility to fix in the first place. And I was starting to realize, maybe it never would be fixed. Maybe some things were just broken. 1 week after Emma stopped speaking to me again, my phone rang. Uncle Howard's name appeared on the screen. Ferdinand, we need to have a family meeting. About your mother. Hope flickered in my chest. Finally. Yes. We need to talk about what's been happening. Can you come to my house tonight? 7 o'clock? I'll be there. Uncle Howard lived in a sprawling ranch home in Mesa. His driveway was already full when I arrived. Emma's car, Craig's Tesla, Aunt Carol's SUV, my cousin's vehicles. A rental car I didn't recognize. Everyone was here. Inside, the living room was set up like an intervention. Chairs in a circle, serious faces. Uncle Howard gestured to an empty seat. Thanks for coming, Ferdinand. I, Saturday. Looked around. Emma wouldn't meet my eyes. Craig looked uncomfortable. Jake and Amy were somber. Aunt Carol and Aunt Diane sat together, whispering. Then Mom walked in. She looked terrible. Dark circles under her eyes. Hair uncombed. Wearing a faded sweater and old jeans. She looked like she'd aged 10 years in 2 weeks. She sat across from me, wouldn't look at me. Uncle Howard stood. I've called this meeting because we've learned some concerning information about how Ferdinand and Emma have been handling support for Grace. Wait. What? We've been handling it? Emma said. What do you mean? Aunt Diane, who I now realized was the rental car owner, spoke up. Your mother came to me 3 days ago. She told me everything. Everything. What did that mean? Aunt Diane continued. Grace has been struggling with a gambling problem for 2 years. Mom's head dropped. She developed it after your father's death anniversary triggered a severe depression. She told both of you about it. Asked for help getting therapy. But instead of helping her get real treatment, you decided to just send her money. That's not true, I said. She never told me about any gambling. She says she did, Uncle Howard said. She says she begged you both for help. Real help. But you thought money was easier. Emma stood up. That's not what happened. Mom's voice was small, broken. I know you're both angry that I finally told someone the truth, but I couldn't keep living the lie. What lie? I said. You're the one who's been lying. Aunt Carol held up a hand. Ferdinand, please, let's stay calm. Mom pulled out her phone. Her hands were shaking. I have text messages, from both of them. She turned the phone to show Uncle Howard. He took it, scrolled, his face getting darker. These are from you. He showed me the screen. Messages that said, just take the money, Mom. It's easier for everyone. Another one. We don't have time for therapy visits. This is simpler. Another. Just accept the help and stop making it complicated. I never sent those, I said. You're saying your mother faked text messages from you? I'm saying I never wrote those words. Emma grabbed the phone. Looked at the messages. Her face went white. I didn't send these either. Craig leaned over to look. Emma, those are from your number. I know, but I didn't write them. Mom started crying. Soft, helpless tears. Why are you doing this? Why are you trying to make me look like I'm crazy? Aunt Diane put an arm around her. It's okay, Grace. They're just defensive. We're not defensive, I said. She's lying about text messages from your own phone numbers. Uncle Howard's voice was stern. Ferdinand, Emma, I know this is hard, but your mother is sick. She needs help. Denying reality isn't going to fix that. Emma was scrolling through her phone frantically. These texts are in my message history, but I swear I didn't send them. She must have. I don't know how, but she must have. Must have what? Craig said quietly. Emma, you're not making sense, Jake spoke up. Look, I don't understand all the technical stuff, but what I do understand is Mom has a gambling problem and you guys knew about it and just kept sending money anyway. We didn't know, I shouted. The room went quiet. Everyone stared at me. Amy's voice was gentle. Ferdinand, maybe you didn't want to know. Maybe it was easier to just send money and not ask questions. I asked questions. She told me she needed it for rent and bills. And you believed her, Uncle Howard said. Even though you never verified, never checked, never asked to see actual bills. The trap was closing. I could feel it. Mom's voice was barely a whisper. I told them. I begged them to help me stop. But they said money was simpler than being emotionally present. They said therapy was too much trouble. That's not true. Emma was crying now. Mom, why are you saying this? Mom looked up at her with sad, wounded eyes. Because I can't protect you anymore, sweetheart. You need help too. Both of you. You enabled my addiction because it was easier than dealing with me as a real person, with real problems. It was masterful. She'd taken our evidence, twisted it, and made herself the victim of our neglect. Craig stood. Look, I think what's important now is moving forward. Grace needs treatment. You two need to stop sending money. We need professional help here. Aunt Diane nodded. Exactly. I've researched some treatment programs for gambling addiction. Grace is willing to go, but we need to set up a family fund, managed by Howard and Carol, to cover her actual expenses. No more money directly from Ferdinand or Emma. You've proven you can't be trusted with that responsibility. Can't be trusted? Emma's voice was shrill. She's the one who lied to us. She's sick, Emma, Aunt Carol said. Sick people lie. That's part of the disease. The question is, why did you enable it? We didn't enable it. We didn't even know about it until last week. Because you never asked, Uncle Howard said. You just threw money at the problem and hoped it would go away. I felt like I was drowning. Every word I said made it worse. Every protest sounded like denial. Every piece of evidence we had was turned against us. Here's what's going to happen, Uncle Howard said. Grace enters a treatment program starting next week. Ferdinand and Emma cut off all financial support immediately. We set up a family fund that Carol and I manage. Grace reports her expenses to us. She's accountable to all of us, not just her children. Everyone agrees? Nods around the room. And Ferdinand, Emma, I think you two need to apologize to your mother for letting it get this far. The words stuck in my throat. Apologize? Yes. For not getting her real help when she asked for it. She never asked me for anything except money. That's your version, Aunt Diane said. She has a different memory. Either way, she's your mother. She's sick. You owe her an apology. Craig squeezed Emma's hand. Hard. A warning. Emma's voice cracked. Mom, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't help you properly. Everyone looked at me. The room was spinning. If I apologized, I accepted blame for her gambling. If I didn't, I was the stubborn, uncaring son who couldn't admit his mistakes. Either way, I lost. I'm sorry, I forced out. Mom stood, walked over, hugged me and Emma together. She was still crying. I forgive you both, she whispered. We'll get through this together. The family breathed a collective sigh of relief. Crisis averted. Problem solved. Everyone could go home feeling good about themselves, except me. I sat in my truck afterward, hands on the steering wheel, staring at nothing. I'd tried to expose the truth, tried to get family support, tried to hold my mother accountable. Instead, I'd been blamed for causing her mental health crisis, manipulated into apologizing for being victimized, painted as a neglectful son who enabled addiction through emotional absence. My mother had gaslit me, stolen $60,000, and convinced everyone that I was the problem. And the worst part? Everyone believed her. 2 weeks after the intervention, my phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Hi. Is this Ferdinand Fletcher? Yes? Great. This is Brian Montgomery from Sonoran Realty. I'm calling about the property sale on Maple Drive. Your mother listed you as an emergency contact for the listing. My blood went cold. What property sale? Pause. Your mother's house? She's selling. I assumed you knew. When did she list it? Last week. We've already had 3 showings. Great interest. It's priced to move. I hung up. Drove straight to Mom's house in Tempe. There was a for sale sign in the yard. Red and white. Cheerful. Final. I parked. Walked to the door. Knocked hard. Mom opened it. Saw me. Her expression didn't change. Oh. Ferdinand, you're selling the house. Yes. Were you going to tell me? She stepped back. Come in. The house was already being packed. Boxes in the living room. Pictures off the walls. Her life being dismantled and packaged. Where are you going? I asked. Seattle. Emma has that big house. She's setting up a mother-in-law suite for me. Emma knows about this? Of course. She's excited. We'll finally have real time together. I felt sick. You're selling the house I helped you keep for 3 years. Mom poured herself coffee. Her movements were calm, casual, like we were discussing weather. It's my house, Ferdinand. I can do what I want with it. What about paying me back? Any of that money? She actually laughed. It wasn't bitter or angry, just amused. Pay you back? For what? $43,000. You gave me gifts, sweetheart. Gifts aren't loans. You never asked me to sign a contract. Never made me agree to repayment terms. You just sent money because you wanted to. The coffee mug in my hand was shaking. I sent it because you said you'd lose the house without it, and I didn't lose it. So your money served its purpose. She smiled. You should feel good about that. What about the gambling addiction? Mom took a sip of coffee. What about it? Was it even real? She looked at me for a long moment, then set down her mug. I went to the casino a few times, played some slots, blackjack once or twice, broke even mostly, won a few $100s here and there. So you lied. I gave the family a story they could understand. They needed an explanation for where the money went. Gambling addiction was believable. Simple. It fit. You made us think you were sick. I gave you what you needed. A reason why your mother wasn't perfect. A reason to feel important. You got to be the concerned children. Everyone got what they wanted. I couldn't breathe. Why would you do this? Mom's face hardened. The mask dropped. Because Emma is my retirement plan, Ferdinand. She makes real money. She has a corner office, a house in Seattle, a husband with stock options. She can keep me comfortable for the rest of my life. You? She looked me up and down. You're a construction manager. You'll never make enough to support both yourself and me, long term. You're a dead end. So you used me. I positioned resources strategically. For 3 years, you kept my house afloat while I saved Emma's money. Now, I have savings, a house sale, and a daughter with the means to support me permanently. It worked out perfectly. Emma's going to find out the truth. Mom pulled a folder from the counter, opened it. Inside were documents, bank statements, emails, invoices, but something was wrong with them. The numbers were off. The dates didn't match anything I remembered. What is that? Evidence that you've been embezzling from your construction company. Fake invoices, kickbacks from suppliers, money laundering through shell accounts. I grabbed the folder. The documents looked real, professional, detailed. They showed me stealing almost $100,000 over 2 years. This is fake. All of it. Can you prove it? These account numbers aren't even real, but they look real. And that's what matters. If you tell Emma the truth about me, I send these to her. I send them to your employer. I send them to everyone. Your career is over. Your reputation is destroyed. You'll spend years trying to prove your innocence, even if you eventually succeed. That's fraud. That's blackmail. That's insurance. Mom closed the folder. See, Ferdinand, I've always been good at reading people. You're going to walk away quietly. You're going to let Emma believe I'm a recovered gambling addict who needs family support. You're going to let me move to Seattle, because the alternative is watching your entire life burn down. I stared at this woman, this stranger wearing my mother's face. When did you become this person? Mom's smile was cold. I've always been this person. You were just too busy trying to be a good son to notice. She walked me to the door. Thank you for your contributions to the house fund, Ferdinand. Consider it your inheritance. Paid early. The door closed in my face. I drove home on autopilot. Sat in my apartment as the sun set. Didn't turn on lights. Just sat in the dark. My phone rang. Emma, did you know Mom's selling her house? Just found out. She's moving in with me. Isn't that great? We'll have so much time to rebuild our relationship. After everything that happened with her addiction, this feels like a fresh start. I wanted to tell her. Wanted to explain what Mom had just revealed. How the gambling was fake. How Mom was using her. How this whole thing was a calculated con. But the fake documents flashed through my mind. My job. My reputation. My future. That's great, Emma. You sound weird. Are you okay? Just tired. Long week. Well, I'm excited. Mom seems really committed to her recovery, and having her close will be good for both of us. Yeah, good for both of you. After hanging up, I sat in the darkness for hours. Every move I'd made to escape had trapped me tighter. Exposing Mom's favoritism made me look like a liar. Discovering the financial double-dipping revealed the gambling. The intervention blamed me for enabling. Confronting Mom directly exposed the full con and left me blackmailed into silence. Mom was moving to Seattle with Emma. She was selling the house. She was keeping all the money. Emma believed Mom was a recovered addict who needed support. The family believed I was a neglectful son, and I couldn't say a word without destroying my entire life. I was cornered, beaten, trapped. She'd won. 3 days after Mom closed the door in my face, I stopped getting out of bed, called in sick to work, told my supervisor I had the flu, lay in my apartment watching the ceiling fan turn and wondering how my life had become this. I kept playing the conversation with Mom over and over in my head. Her cold smile, her casual admission that everything was fake, her threat to destroy my career if I told the truth. On day 4, my phone buzzed. Voicemail notification from my friend Tyler, 42 minutes long. I almost deleted it. Tyler and I went to college together, talked maybe once a month. Why would he leave a 42-minute voicemail? But I was bored, numb. I pressed play. My own voice came through the speaker. "You're selling the house I helped you keep for 3 years. My heart stopped. I knew that conversation. That was from the confrontation with Mom. I scrambled to sit up, pressed the phone to my ear. Mom's voice. "It's my house, Ferdinand. I can do what I want with it." Me. "What about paying me back? Any of that money?" Mom, laughing. "Pay you back? For what?" The entire conversation was there. All of it. Every damning word. Mom admitting the gambling was fake. Mom explaining Emma was her retirement plan. Mom calling me a dead end. Mom threatening me with fabricated evidence. All of it. Crystal clear audio. I checked my call history. I'd pocket-dialed Tyler during the confrontation. My phone had been in my jacket, apparently positioned perfectly to pick up both our voices. I called Tyler immediately. "Dude, finally. I left you a voicemail like 3 days ago. Did you listen to it?" No. It was 42 minutes long. I figured you'd just tell me what was up when you called back. Don't delete it." "What?" "The voicemail. Don't delete it. I need it. Okay? You good, man?" "I will be. Thank you." I spent the next hour backing up the recording, saved it to my laptop, uploaded it to 3 different cloud services, emailed it to myself, put it on a thumb drive, made absolutely sure it couldn't disappear. Then I sat with it, listening, re-listening. I had proof. Real, undeniable proof. Mom's own words admitting everything. Her own voice explaining the con. Her own threat making it blackmail. But what did I do with it? If I sent it to Emma, Mom would send the fake embezzlement documents to my employer. She'd follow through. I knew she would. If I sent it to the family, same problem. Mom would burn my life down. Unless I sent it to everyone at once. Mutually assured destruction. She releases her fake documents. I release the recording. Both our lives get ruined. Would she risk it? 2 days later, I decided. Wrote an email. Attached the recording. Addressed it to Uncle Howard, Aunt Carol, Aunt Diane, Emma, Jake, Amy. Everyone. Subject line. The truth about Mom. Body text. I need you to listen to this. All of it. The whole recording. Before you respond, before you make judgments, just listen. This is a conversation between me and Mom from 2 weeks ago. I didn't know I was recording it, but I'm glad I did, because it's the truth about everything that's been happening, everything I've been trying to tell you. Please, just listen. My finger hovered over the send button. This was it. No going back. I pressed send at 11:58 at night, then lay awake waiting. Morning came. My phone exploded. Emma first. What the hell is this? It's exactly what it says. A recording. From my conversation with Mom. She wouldn't say those things. She couldn't. Emma, I didn't even know I was recording. Just listen to it. The whole thing. I am listening to it. Right now. And Ferdinand, if this is real. Her voice broke. 5 minutes later. Mom, you recorded me without my consent. That's illegal. Arizona is a one-party consent state, Mom. I'm allowed to record conversations I'm part of. Look it up. You're destroying this family. No, you already did that. I'm just showing them what you did. If you don't delete that recording right now and send an apology to everyone, I'm sending those documents about your embezzlement to your boss tomorrow morning. First thing, do it. Silence. What? Send them. I'll report them as fake. I'll have forensic accountants examine them. I'll expose your fraud. Bring it on. I was calling her bluff. Or maybe I wasn't bluffing at all. Maybe I was just done being afraid. Ferdinand. I'm done, Mom. I'm done being manipulated. I'm done being scared. Do your worst. I hung up. 30 minutes later. Uncle Howard. I listened to the recording. Twice. And, I believe you. The relief was so intense I almost cried. You do? Yes. And Ferdinand, I need to tell you something. I've been investigating your mother. What? After the intervention, something felt off. The story was too neat, too convenient. So I did some digging. I have a friend who works at Desert Diamond Casino. He checked their records for me, quietly. Your mother did go there, but her losses over 2 years totaled maybe $2,000. Not the tens of thousands she claimed. Oh my God. I also pulled county records. Your mother's house is selling for $350,000. She bought it in 1995 for $82,000. It's been paid off for 15 years. She's walking away with enormous profit. He had evidence. Real evidence. Independent of my recording. I didn't want to accuse her without proof, Uncle Howard said. But now with your recording we have everything. I'm calling an emergency family meeting. Tonight, your mother will be there. She doesn't get a choice. The meeting was at 7. I arrived early. Everyone was already there. Mom tried to refuse to come, but Uncle Howard told her if she didn't show, he'd play the recording for everyone without her present. She came. She looked afraid. Finally, Uncle Howard didn't waste time. He pulled up the recording on his laptop, connected it to speakers, pressed play. For 42 minutes, the room was silent except for the recording. Mom's voice admitting the gambling was mostly fake, admitting Emma was her retirement plan, admitting I was a dead end, threatening me with fabricated documents. When it ended, Aunt Diane was crying. Aunt Carol looked furious. Emma was shaking. Jake and Amy sat frozen. Mom tried to speak. That recording is out of context. You don't understand. Uncle Howard cut her off. I also have your real casino records. 2,000 in losses over 2 years, not tens of thousands. He spread documents across the table. I have your house sale records. 350,000 profit. For a house you claimed you were about to lose. More documents. I have employment records, showing no library job exists under your name, anywhere in Maricopa County. More documents. I have everything, Grace. Mom's face cycled through emotions. Fear, anger, then calculation. One last try. You're all turning on me? Your own mother? After everything I've sacrificed for this family? Aunt Diane's voice was cold. Stop. Just stop, Grace. Emma stood up. Her face was pale, eyes red. You lied to me. About everything. I was planning my life around taking care of you. Emma. Honey. Don't. Don't call me that. Emma turned to me. Ferdinand, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I didn't believe you. I'm sorry I took her side. I'm sorry for all of it. She was crying. Really crying. Craig, who'd been silent, stood. Emma, we need to talk. Outside. Through the window, I watched them on the porch. Craig was gesturing, shaking his head. Emma was pleading, reaching for him. He stepped back, kept shaking his head. They argued for 10 minutes. Then Craig walked to his car, got in, drove away. Emma came back inside. Her mascara was running. Her eyes were devastated. Craig broke up with me. He said he can't deal with this. With my family. With all the drama. She sat down heavily. Mom reached for her. Emma, I can explain. Emma jerked away. Don't touch me. Don't ever touch me again. The family discussed what to do. Aunt Diane wanted to cut Mom off completely. Uncle Howard agreed. No more money. From anyone. You're on your own, Grace. Mom looked around the room. No allies. No sympathy. Nothing. Fine. I don't need any of you. I have my house sale. I'll be comfortable. She stood, grabbed her purse, walked to the door. Nobody stopped her. The door closed. She was gone. After a long silence, Emma turned to me. Can we talk? Alone? We went outside. Stood in the driveway under the streetlight. I've been a terrible sister, Emma said. Emma, no. Let me say this. I believed her over you. Every single time. Even when you showed me evidence. Even when the story didn't make sense. I chose her over you. And I'm so sorry. 3 years of pain bubbled up. You called me a liar in front of everyone. I know. You blamed me for enabling gambling that didn't even exist. I know. You were going to live with her and shut me out completely. I know. I know, Ferdinand. And I'll spend the rest of my life regretting it. She was sobbing. Craig left me. Mom's gone. I've lost everything. And it's because I was too stupid to see what was right in front of me. I wanted to stay angry. Wanted to hold on to the hurt. But seeing Emma broken reminded me of something. We were both victims here. Come here, I said. I hugged her while she cried into my shoulder. We'll figure this out. I told her. But inside I wondered. Would we? 3 months later, Emma and I sat at our usual coffee shop in Scottsdale. Sunday morning, 10 o'clock. Our standing appointment. It had been awkward at first, these weekly meetings. Too much hurt, too much history. But slowly, week by week, we'd started actually talking. Not about Mom, not about the past, about real things, our jobs, our lives, who we actually were beneath all the damage. I had another therapy session yesterday, Emma said, stirring her latte. Dr. Martinez asked me to identify the earliest memory I have of feeling like I had to be perfect. What did you say? I was 7. Mom took me to a piano recital. I messed up in the middle, just froze, forgot the notes. When we got home, she didn't yell. She just looked disappointed and said, Your father would have been so proud if you'd finished. Emma's voice was quiet. I spent the next 27 years trying to finish, trying to make her proud enough to fill that hole. I'd started therapy too. Once a week, same as Emma. Dr. Chen asked me why I kept sending money, even when it hurt financially. I told him I thought if I stopped, I'd lose the only connection I had to my family. And what did he say? He said maybe I was afraid of being forgotten, that I was buying my way into relevance. We sat with that for a minute. She didn't create our problems, Emma said, but she sure knew how to use them. She weaponized our insecurities. Perfectly. The coffee shop was busy around us. Normal people having normal Sundays. Nobody there knew what we'd been through, what we were still going through. Emma picked at her blueberry muffin. Craig texted me again last night. What did he say? That he overreacted, that he misses me, that he wants to try again. What did you tell him? I said no. She looked up at me. When things got hard, he ran. I need someone who stays. You stayed, Ferdinand. Even when I treated you like garbage. Even when nobody believed you. Even when it would have been easier to just walk away. That's what loyalty looks like. Her eyes filled with tears. I'm going to spend however long it takes becoming the sister who deserved a brother like you. Now my eyes were watering too. You already are. We hugged right there in the coffee shop. Let people stare. Didn't care. Later, driving home, I thought about the journey. Where I'd been. Where I was now. I'd lost $43,000. Lost my relationship with my mother. Lost years of peace and stability. Lost the naive belief that family always had your back. But I'd gained something worth more. I'd gained self-respect. The kind that comes from standing up for yourself even when it costs everything, from choosing truth over comfortable lies, from refusing to shrink yourself to fit someone else's narrative. I'd learned my worth wasn't tied to what I provided others. That giving until it hurt didn't make me noble. It made me a target. I'd learned that people who love you will believe you when you speak your truth, and people who don't will find reasons not to, no matter how much evidence you provide, no matter how much you sacrifice. I'd reconnected with Emma, not as rivals for approval, but as real people. Flawed, healing, trying. At a stoplight, my phone buzzed. Text from Emma. "Thank you for not giving up on me." I typed back. "Thank you for coming back." The light turned green. I'd been promoted to regional manager 2 months ago. The money was better. For the first time in 3 years, my savings account was actually growing. I was planning a vacation to Colorado, hiking, mountains, something for myself. Emma had sold her big house in Seattle, moved to a smaller place in Tempe, closer to me. She said she didn't need to prove anything anymore, didn't need the corner office validation. She was learning to be enough, just as herself. We didn't talk to Mom. She'd moved to Florida, Tampa, bought a condo with the house sale money. Uncle Howard reported she was fine, comfortable, alone. She'd tried calling a few times. We didn't answer. She'd sent emails. We didn't respond. She'd sent a Christmas card. We threw it away, unopened. Some of the family still talked to her. Distant cousins who didn't know the full story. But Uncle Howard didn't. Aunt Carol didn't. Aunt Diane definitely didn't. The people who mattered, who'd heard the recording, who'd seen the evidence, they knew. At coffee the previous week, Emma had asked, "Do you think we'll ever forgive her?" I'd thought about it. Maybe. Someday. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation, though. What do you mean? I can forgive her for being broken, for being a person who hurt us because she was hurting, but forgiveness doesn't mean giving her access to hurt us again. Those are two different things. Emma had nodded slowly. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Forgiveness for the person, boundaries for yourself. You could hold both. I thought about the life lesson I'd learned, the one I'd tell my own kids someday if I had them. Sometimes the people who raised you are the ones you need to protect yourself from. DNA doesn't equal destiny. Blood doesn't equal bond. Family isn't about who shares your genetics. It's about who shows up when things get ugly, who believes you when the truth is hard, who fights to keep you in their life. Real love doesn't require you to bleed to earn it, doesn't demand you shrink yourself to fit into someone else's story, doesn't measure your worth by how much you suffer in silence. The hardest battles aren't fought with fists. They're fought with boundaries, with the word no, with walking away from people who refuse to see your value. Sacrifice without appreciation isn't noble. It's just self-destruction with better marketing. And sometimes winning means losing everything fake to make room for something real. I'd won by refusing to play Mom's game, by choosing truth even when it was painful, by rebuilding with Emma on honest ground, by saving myself instead of waiting for someone else to notice I was drowning. That was enough. Finally, that was enough. I pulled into my apartment complex. The Arizona sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. Beautiful, normal, mine. My phone buzzed again. "Emma, movie night next week? Your place? I'll bring the popcorn." Me. Deal. But I'm picking the movie this time. No more of your weird documentaries about cheese making. Emma, that was one time. And it was fascinating. Me. It was 2 hours about mold. Emma. Artisanal mold. I laughed. Actually laughed. When was the last time I'd done that? Inside my apartment. I made dinner. Nothing fancy. Grilled chicken, rice, vegetables, but I made it for myself. Not to prove anything. Not to save money for someone else. Just because I was hungry and I deserved to eat well. The TV played in the background. Some basketball game. I wasn't really watching. Just enjoying the quiet, the peace, the absence of manipulation. My life wasn't perfect. Emma was still healing from Craig's rejection. I was still working through trust issues with my therapist. We both had days where the anger came back, where we wondered if we should have handled things differently. But we were free. That was worth everything. I'd learned that you can't save people who don't want to be saved. Can't love people into being better. Can't sacrifice yourself enough to earn respect from someone who's already decided you don't matter. But you can save yourself. You can walk away. You can choose differently. And sometimes, that's the bravest thing you can do. Before bed, I checked my bank account. $4,200 saved. Money that was mine. That I'd earned. That nobody was taking from me. It wasn't the $43,000 I'd lost. But it was clean. Honest. Free. Tomorrow I'd wake up and go to work. Emma and I would text about something meaningless and wonderful. Life would continue. Better. Healthier. Real. I'd stood up to my mother. Exposed her lies. Lost the fantasy of a loving family. Found an honest relationship with my sister. Learned my worth. And that, finally, was victory. Not the kind where everyone apologizes. Not the kind where wrongs are righted and justice is served cleanly, but the kind where you look in the mirror and recognize yourself again, where you sleep through the night without nightmares, where you stop waiting for the other shoe to drop, the kind where you're enough, just as you are, without having to prove it to anyone. That was the real win, and I'd take it. So, let me ask you something. Have you ever been in a situation where you knew the truth, but nobody believed you? Where you had to choose between keeping the peace and standing up for yourself? What did you choose? And looking back, do you think you made the right call? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, if you've dealt with toxic family dynamics or manipulation, or being the scapegoat, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more stories about real people dealing with real struggles and coming out the other side. Share this with someone who needs to hear that it's okay to walk away from people who hurt you, even if they're family. Thank you for listening to my story, for giving me a place to be heard, for being the kind of people who understand that some fights are worth having, even when they cost everything. Take care of yourselves out there. Set boundaries. Choose truth. And remember, you're allowed to save yourself. Until next time.